So, if you thought the addition of 2 to 3 crazy new weapons from the new Berserk update is kind of crazy and cracked, you would be completely right. However, as it turns out, there's actually even more new items that can help you increase your damage as a Berserk is cracked. Many players jump to the conclusion that basically your weapon, armor and pet dictates your damage, which to an extent is true. However, a lot of people really do neglect their accessory bag, the magical power, and also their equipment. So today we take a look at 2 new pieces of equipment that can transform your damage within dungeons. First being the Soul Weaver gloves, and the second being the Shadow Assassin cloak. If we first of all take a look at the stats on the Soul Weaver gloves, it gives us a base 10 strength and a base 10% crit damage. Obviously that scales within dungeons. Also, while in the catacombs, summon a haunted skull that slowly revolves around you every 15 seconds. Or when you kill a mob with melee damage. When an enemy is hit by a haunted skull, they are stunned for 2 seconds and heal 5% less damage. Clearly, there's some very nice stats. We can buy one of those, get it recombed, we can reforge it, and we can also star it, so we can make those buffs be even more prominent. As for the Shadow Assassin cloak, it's going to give us a base 20 strength, it's going to give us a base 3 speed. On teleport, your next melee hit within 5 seconds deals 10% more damage. Once again, with this Shadow Assassin cloak, we can actually frag it with livid frags, we can recom it, reforge it, and star it too, giving us a really nice buff, and we'll test it out. But before we do, if you are planning on purchasing anything from the Hypixel store, make sure you use code NITROS, it gets yourself 5% off. Also, you should subscribe to the channel, it really does help out. We're getting close to 60k, that would be really nice. You should also join the Discord server, it's linked in the description of this video. We offer services such as Dungeons and Slayer carries, or even if you want to carry in Dungeons or Slayers, you should join the server. Anyway, let's try and get ourselves a good Shadow Assassin cloak. So a completely base Shadow Assassin cloak is going to be 7.4 mil, a fragged one 9.3. Now I've just realised, I think a lot of people use this for mining because obviously it gives you a lot more strength. People are reforging it to blooming so that they can take advantage of the Mushroom Cow, which is pretty cool actually. We're definitely not going to be using it for farming. Now you can buy one for about 24 mil fragged recombed 5-starred. We should be able to do it cheaper if we actually do it ourselves by the looks of things. If we buy a base Shadow Assassin cloak, we buy ourselves 8 of these livid frags. That's about 8.2 mil spent. No, we don't really need the crit chance, so I guess we put strengthened on there, so that's an extra 2 mil we spent. I already have the essence, so it's definitely going to be cheaper for me to just star it myself. And then 7 mil for a recom, so yeah, we've got it cheaper. We've spent 21 mil. And it'd actually be a really good flip, because we could probably sell this for like 29, 28 mil. I'm not factoring the cost of the essence, anyway. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and buy our gloves clean as well, because that should work out miles cheaper, I think. And now within dungeons, our Shadow Assassin cloak is going to give us 133 strength, 41 defense, and also 20 speed. Our Soul Weaver gloves are going to give us an extra 66 strength, an extra 41 crit damage, and an extra 33 defense, of course, paired with their actual stats as well. Okay, so we went ahead and I purchased the Felthorn Reaper. Once again, it's one for all. Is probably not the best. In fact, it really probably isn't. You're best off having Sully to 5 and regular enchantments. This is just for the purpose of testing the equipment. We've managed to get around about 1,300 of both strength and crit damage. Now, a lot of the strength that we were lacking before, we've now made up for by having these 2 pieces of equipment, which has allowed us to put more tuning points onto crit damage, in turn doing more damage. It's really nice. We're going to go into like floor 6 or something and test all of this out. Okay, it's time for destruction. Oh yes. Now it's okay running around and doing damage in dungeons. Like there's not really any sort of tell as to whether the equipment is doing anything at all. So we're going to make sure that we can tell the difference. Of course, at the moment we're using our 2 pieces of new dungeonized equipment, and the other 2 pieces are just the regular equipment that I have, which aren't really geared toward dungeons at all. And approximately our damage is... Oh, okay, well, let's see. On average, let's say about 27 million. Let's just test that out again. 20 million, 27 million. 27 to 28. Now, if I get my other 2 pieces of regular, non-dungeon geared equipment, I guess, and replace these 2 pieces with these 2 pieces, we should be able to see a difference. And when we damage test, we're doing 25 to 26 million. So our damage is decreased by around about 2 to 3 million just from taking those pieces of equipment off, which is actually pretty big. Now, something I do want to see in action is the Soul Weaver Glove's ability. And really, we can only properly test this or see if we can see any changes to something that we can't one-hit. Now, if you're considering purchasing these equipment, there's a good chance that you may be early game and may not have a ton of money to spend. So a question that you might be wondering is it even worth paying the coins? Well, by all means, you don't need to recom it, you don't need to frag it, you don't even need to reforge it. I'd say just 5-starring it is enough. Of course, if you have the coins and reforge it, it's way better once it's fully upgraded. And the Soul Weaver gloves for just less than 5, meaning that for these two pieces of equipment, you're essentially paying 12 mil, which isn't a massive investment. Obviously, everything else from there is extra, like it does help if you star it, it does make it way better, it scales way better in dungeons, but you don't need to do that. Now, this is actually really cool because prior to this, in dungeons, you'd have to spend a lot more coins to actually get decent equipment. For example, something like a dominant speed sort of combination is almost considered, or was almost considered, a god roll for dungeons. Just the base molten bracelet itself is almost 13 mil, and of course once you start to upgrade that, it's going to get very expensive very, very quickly. It isn't dungeonizable, so it doesn't scale. It's still a very good option, and to be honest, it may even work out to be better, but for that to be better, you'll have to spend a ton of coins, because it's not dungeonizable. You're going to need, basically, to spend way more coins to actually make it as good. Now, there's also more new pieces of dungeon equipment, such as the adaptive belt. This is going to set you back around about 2.7, let's say 3 million coins. And obviously, it's just sort of an addition to the adaptive set. Of course, it's a relatively cheap piece of equipment, and it is dungeonizable, so it will scale pretty nicely. So even unstarred, this is going to give you 18 strength within dungeons, which is really nice. All in all, there's much more potential to do more damage as a berserk, and that's what it's all about. This update is great. One thing that I am a little bit unsure about is the fact that the lowest bid for a Bone Reaver is 60 million coins, and the lowest bid for a Felthorn Reaper is 73 million coins. Of course, this is a direct upgrade from the Bone Reaver, should I say. I don't know, I don't think that pricing is quite right at all. I think for the base stats, there should definitely be a bigger gap in price, and the Bone Reaper should be quite a bit cheaper. I don't know, let me know what you think. But other than that, once again, more goodness basically from the new Berserk update. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you do leave a like, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you in the next one.